Yeah, SFA, first match was against them. And I feel like coaches, there's always a game that you want back, and that is definitely the one from the weekend. We did not show up whatsoever. But I do believe that everything happens for a reason. I think we learned a lot from that match. I think we, as a staff, sat down, made some adjustments to our lineup, and we switched things up the next 2 days, and it's benefited us a lot. We looked really good the next two matches. I think our girls were really disappointed with just how we played in general, and they were a lot more hungry for those next two matches. So overall, with the weekend, pleased with how it went, going 2-1. But I do believe that if we could get that match back, it would be a different outcome.
So overall, your team's doing very well on the season, only one loss. You're going into a weekend where you're playing an SEC opponent. Overall, going from Alcorn to Ole Miss, what do you want to see from your girls?
So against Alcorn, they are going to be different than what we've seen so far. I think the biggest message that we're preaching to our team right now is controlling our game and what we can do. We're going to set goals based off of us instead of doing a normal scout that we would against Ole Miss. We're putting a lot more time into that one. So we're setting goals for us against Alcorn. And then with Ole Miss, I'm excited for that matchup. They're a really good team. We've talked as a staff and the scout that I think we have put together. It will be a good match.
And where do y'all feel like y'all are at 6 games in as a team when it comes to evaluating the roster and how well you think that they've been playing so far?
I think overall we've done a good job. I think with us making the adjustment in our lineup has been huge. You know, we've gone back and forth with some changes, but we finally made a couple that we hadn't done. And I think that it transformed our game tremendously with a lot of players. We have a very balanced offense. We basically explained to them, like, we are going to go more veteran, rookie, veteran across the line instead of being more experienced and young. And so I think we have less weak rotations. There's a couple that we still need to get better at, but overall, I think we're a lot more balanced. And so I am very pleased with how we're playing right now. Yes, there are things that we still need to polish up and get better at. But we discussed those this morning in practice and in film. And, you know, I told them it is still early. We don't want to be playing our best ball right now. We want to peak at the right time and be playing our best ball in November. And as long as we continue to trend in that direction, we'll be fine.
If you would just remark about the weekend that Caitlin had, because she was pretty good all 3 matches.
Yeah, Caitlin did phenomenal for us. I think the first night she didn't play her best, and then making the adjustment. I think the adjustments that we made with flipping our opposites and middles with our setters benefits Caitlin in a lot of ways. And then, we were putting her in positions offensively to have her in one-on-one situations to where she was able to put up the numbers that she was. I mean, her and Jasmine Gaston both got all tournaments. They both did a phenomenal job for us. And I think that's due to the change that we made. And then I think from a defensive standpoint too, I have to shout out Lindsay Henry. She did a great job blocking. We talked about this morning, our match against ACU, I think we had 15 blocks. I've told them all year we have it in us. We've got to figure out the communication, the setup, and getting over early. And so I'm very pleased with how quite a few of them played. But Kaylin, those are the numbers she should be putting up every single game. She is our lone senior. She's our big mama. She's a powerhouse for us.
Talked about Lindsay Henry. She had a season high 9 blocks. Was she one of the ones in the preseason that you saw and were raving about why you thought this defense could have been so good on the blocking end?
Yeah, I think just as a whole, I knew how we would be defensively, but defense is her strong suit. We knew recruiting her that's where she was really good at. And it showed this weekend. We told Lindsay today, she's still really narrow when she blocks and she's still getting those numbers. So if she continues to grow and make those slight adjustments, she is going to be even higher. I expect her to set records from a defensive standpoint because she is so good there.
Talk about the development and growth of Jasmine when it comes to from her freshman year up to now in her sophomore season.
Yes. So Jazz has grown a lot. I think she did a good job this spring in her development. And last year she carried a heavy load as a freshman, and she carried it on the outside pin, which where most of the balls are going. And personally, I think she's better on the opposite. I think she's very dynamic over there. There's a lot that she can do. She has a great no-show down the line, but I think she's done just a tremendous job of putting up really good numbers over there.
You kind of talked about the slow start versus SFA. You guys were held to 155. And then versus Sam Houston and ACU, you guys really picked it up in terms of hitting percentage wise. How crucial is that to be able to see your team make adjustments and bounce back? Because in conference play, splitting a 1-1, that's huge. That goes a long way. So kind of talk about the adjustments that your team was able to make over the weekend.
Yeah, I think they weren't pleased with how they played. They knew that, even if we played halfway better, that we still could have won that match. And so they said they were hungry to go and win. Our team did a great job of bringing the energy. Let's see, Sam Houston, we were supposed to start our match at 7:00. And mind you, volleyball's crazy. We have a warm-up before our warm-up. So we're starting an hour and a half, 2 hours before our match even starts. So we ended up not starting that match until 8:30 at night. And I don't know where they found the second, third, and fourth gear that they had with their energy, but I shouted out the bench so much that night because I think they really contributed to our success. Our energy was unmatched the last two matches, but I think they did a great job there. And then we didn't even get home to our hotel until right at 11:30 that night. And then we played at 11 the next morning. Our wake-up call was at 6 a.m. So the turnaround was quick. I told them today I was proud of them because I wasn't sure from a recovery standpoint how we would respond on Saturday with ACU, but I was very happy with our performance, our numbers, and just once we figure out this third set, I think we are still letting up in that third set. I think we come out guns blazing, we play really good, and then we kind of let up in the third set. I think that's a trend that we've seen that we have to make an adjustment on. But overall, again, very happy with how they responded.
How do you feel like this was your first road test? You played the first 3 matches at home, and then now you were able to go on the road. Now you're going back on the road. How do you feel like your team has been able to adjust going on the road and kind of getting in the swing of things on that side of it?
Yeah, I don't think that they had an issue with being on the road. I think they did a really good job of making adjustments and things that we needed to, whether it was game time, whether it was issues that we ran into with our first day being at SFA with not having a locker room and then having a late pass and serve, people walking through pass and serve. I thought they handled it really well. And anytime that you can go on the road and win is huge. And so it's going to be the same message this weekend with Alcorn and Old Miss.